found some rather bizarre things with regards to this new movie coming out. This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. We're talking about this movie called Disclosure Day that Steven Spielberg has produced that's coming out in June on the 12th. There's some rather interesting things that I'm now discovering with regards to that movie and how it ties into the disclosure that they're currently doing right now, our government's doing. And we have all these really weird stories to get into surrounding all of this. We're going to talk about that in this video. We're going to get into also how the Vatican is involved as well. Let's check out this clip from Disclosure Day. This is where the lady who is apparently a weather reporter is all of a sudden taken over by one of these aliens. Check this out.
Do you understand what she's saying?
Now, here's the thing about this. For one, we're not living in the 90s or early 2000s anymore. No one's like just watching weather on their phone like that, dude. No one does this. This is not something that is, obviously, with Steven Spielberg, it's been around a while, a little bit older than you and I probably, and I don't think he gets it. We're not that way anymore. We're not watching a news reporter on her phone. You don't have like nuns sitting there. Oh my God, look what the news reporter said in the weather station. I mean, come on, dude. This is ridiculous looking. And obviously the factor is, why is this alien taking over her body? Kind of looks familiar. It looks sort of like demon, possession or something like that. And it is very interesting that the Pentagon is disclosing on aliens right now as well. They've been declassified and released several waves of UFO, UAP files. I've been covering it over on X, also here on YouTube, including a major release of 50 documents and videos. However, official reports conclude there is no evidence or confirmed technology proving alien life or extraterrestrial origins. Of course, I find that kind of hilarious that this AI is saying that. Obviously, the files that have come out haven't been exactly super spectacular. There has been some interesting stuff in there. The first file dump, some interesting stuff that looked like Ezekiel's wheel. We also had batch 2 with a really ridiculous file where it showed something super blurry that people are like, what is this blurry thing? And then we discovered it probably is an inflatable stormtrooper balloon. It's so dumb. But this is the kind of stuff that was in the files. There was some important stuff, I would say, in there, but there's actually a lot of nothing burger stuff. You can find better stuff just scrolling on the internet, actually, in many cases. I think the point is that the government's now disclosing, oh my God, apparently 1 billion people have seen the website. Like, we all know this stuff. But it's just interesting. I kind of get this feeling like the normies and maybe some of the older crowd are the ones being sort of targeted with this disclosure. Steven Spielberg just revealed the plot of Disclosure Day on Colbert, and it's wild. A secret archive of everything about UFOs, ET visits, starting with Roswell 1947. Let's just check out what he has to say here.
About UFO and extraterrestrial visitation to this planet, beginning with Roswell in 1947. And the people who have been guarding these secrets and keeping these secrets away from the general public, the whistleblowers inside that organization have stolen the entire archive. And those who do not want the truth to be known go after them.
Obviously, this sounds actually kind of similar to what's really happening. He actually says this is very close to reality, this movie that he created. He says that these researchers that stole the archive all of a sudden have supernatural powers, not like Marvel powers, but more so just able to know a new language they never knew before, or new stuff about some topic or people, can, things like that. Maybe read people's thoughts or something. I'm not sure exactly what the entire thing is, but it does seem kind of like almost, it reminds me of something that's happened back in 2020. Okay, you remember the whole the whole thing with COVID? Remember there was a documentary that came out right before it happened? Hey, we need to prepare. Something's going to happen. Billy Boy, you know, the computer guy Gates, he came out with this little documentary, and then all of a sudden it happened, right? It's almost like they think we're dumb. Like we can't see how they're like using this as a form of, what would you call it? Propaganda to usher in whatever they want to do. And they use movies, they use documentaries, they use TV shows, influencers, blah, 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 to usher in whatever garbage they want to usher in next. Apparently aliens in this case. And with this being in mind, it makes you wonder what it's really all about. Why do they want us to believe in this? Why do they want us to embrace it? All this kind of stuff, right? You have Fox News even openly discuss alien species that have visited Earth and mentions 4 different ones: Greys, Nordics, insect, and reptile ones. Let's just play this really quick.
Been recovered, and what they found inside, shocking.
And do people think that there's one type of non-human intelligence that's visiting the Earth, or is there many, many types?
People who have been involved in recoveries have said
there are at least 4 separate types. Now, I have not had direct access to that, but...
So this is on Fox News, right? And I mentioned how this was something that was exclusively on things like Art Bell back in the 90s, Coast to Coast. There's some people in the comment section on one of my other channels saying, hey, are you disparaging it? No, I'm not disparaging Art Bell. I actually used to listen to him. Okay. George Norrie, Art Bell, back in the old days. Love that stuff. My whole thing is they're trying to bring it out into the public, the general public, the normies now, and they have to put it on Fox News. They got to put it on these main broadcasts. They have to put it in official statements and disclosures of UFO files to just get the normies on board, because they're not going to come on board unless they are saying it, right? And what I noticed though, and this is something maybe you and I or people that have been studying this topic for many, many years noticed, is that all these things are humanoids. They're all humanoids. They got 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, look like a human except for with an insect type look to them, or perhaps they look like a Nordic guy that's really tall, kind of like the Nephilim or something. Then you got the Greys, the little short ones with big eyes, right? And you got the reptile ones as well. Obviously, look like they're kind of a mix of something. You have Dr. Stephen Greer here. There are 69 different alien species documented since the 1960s, ranging from 1.5 to 40 feet tall. Now, okay, so I just happen to notice little patterns, okay? There's a book called The Book of Jubilees. It's only thousands and thousands of years old. It talks about the giants or the Nephilim, and it mentions that some are actually shorter than humans, and actually a lot of them are taller than humans. Go figure, all these aliens are the same exact thing. Some are shorter than humans, and most are a lot taller than humans. It's so weird how they exactly match like that. Almost like maybe they're just Nephilim. I don't know. You had a Brazilian tribe, an Indian tribe, shown pictures of Greys. They never heard of spaceships and beings from another planet. They're literally a tribe out in the middle of nowhere. Showed pictures of Greys. They're like, oh, I can't remember the name of it. It starts with an M. Mama Zuba, or whatever I don't remember the word. They live underground. We've known about them for thousands of years. I mean, this is my point. They're like literally Nephilim. That's what these things are. And they're just pretending to be from another planet, pretending to be advanced beings that are from another. They just evolved with 2 arms and 2 legs, just like you, and 2 eyes. I mean, give me a break. It's so retarded. Obviously, if evolution was real, if there was a such thing as macroevolution, and it did work, I guarantee you that it'd be more like this movie Hail Mary, or what's it called? Operation Hail Mary or something like that? I can't remember what the movie's called. Let me go look it up real quick. Where you have like a weird rock thing that kind of moves around and has some like appendages or something, but it doesn't have 2 arms and 2 legs and 2 eyes. Movie Hail Mary. Is it Hail Mary? Yeah, here we are. Project Hail Mary. Right, so he meets an alien. And the alien's like a rock-looking thing. Okay, that actually makes more sense. That actually sounds logical if there's a such thing as evolution. It wouldn't be something that looks like you and I at all? Zero? Okay? The very fact that they look like you and I means they are probably part you and I. They're probably hybrids, not rocket science. Okay? I actually have a science degree. I think I can put that behind what I'm saying. Even though Billy Boy Gates, the computer guy, he doesn't have any science degree at all, yet he's over everything. You know, it's just kind of funny how that works. You got Dr. Stephen Greer talking about these 69 different species. Most are bipedal, humanoid structures, but show huge diversity in form, size, because they come from different stars. What are you talking about, dude? Look, if evolution was true and they came from different star systems, they would look nothing like us. They would not be humanoid at all. Zero humanoid. They might have 10 eyes, 50 eyes. They might not even call them eyes, right? They wouldn't look anything like us. This isn't exactly rocket science, okay? I don't know why everyone falls for this BS. It's so obvious to me. Okay, you got here, again, it should be obvious because you got movies proving it. Project Hail Mary looks nothing like a human, not humanoid at all. That makes perfect sense. If you were actually going to see a being from another solar system in space, it probably would look nothing like you at all. Zero. Not look like a hybrid of you, okay? The Vatican has a telescope named Lucifer. Yeah, I remember this. We talked about this like 10 years ago on YouTube, 15 years ago on YouTube, way back in the old days. I got on here back in 2010. Let's just play a clip of this right here. This is Sid Roth. Check this out.
Catholic astronomer, the number one, is operating with something called Project Lucifer. What is that?
Well, up on top of Mount Graham in Arizona, there's an observatory complex. It consists of 3 very high-powered telescopes. One is the Vatican Advanced Technology Telescope. There's a radio telescope, and then there's one called the Large Binocular Telescope. This is the most powerful telescope in the world. In fact, they told us they can get better images of space than the Hubble Space Telescope can. Now, attached to this telescope is an infrared camera named Lucifer, which is really a kind of an odd name.
It's not an odd name. It's intentional name. I mean, look at the only building they've built in the last 100 years in the Vatican, and it looks literally like a dragon. Okay, like, oh, I wonder what that's supposed to represent. I don't know, a dragon? It looks like a snake. Yeah. Well, what was that little animal in the Garden of Eden? Oh yeah, it was a serpent. Oh, yeah, that's right. I mean, this isn't exactly that hard to see if you want to see it. I mean, you can just believe whatever they tell you. If you want to believe there's 69 different alien species from other galaxies, okay, go ahead and believe it. But I don't believe it, okay? Because they look like us. They're clearly hybrids. They're written about in all these history books, which, of course, they ignore all this. They tell you it's mythology, right? And then they tell you what the facts and science are. The facts and science are evolution in millions of years, even though we haven't had it documented in history, and we can't actually prove it, although we claim we can, right? This is what I'm trying to get at. So they actually take real history and throw it in the garbage bin, and then they give you this other science history. And this is obviously related to Albert, of course, Pike, and what he wrote about back in the 1870s when he was talking to the devil, and the devil told him what his plan was for the future. Kind of weird how it actually fits in perfectly. Take people from Christianity to atheism, from atheism to Luciferian lights. And the Luciferian lights, of course, you had, as I've said many times, Arthur C. Clarke's movie, Childhood End. We're in the age of Horus, which means the age of the child. The childhood end, the end of the age of Horus, they'll bring in the Luciferian light. What does the movie Childhood End have? It has a literal Satan as the alien. So it's telling you, actually, we're tricking you. We are the devils pretending to be aliens. That's what it's telling you, but they're thinking you're too dumb to figure it out. They're hoping you're not smart enough to figure it out. They're like, we're going to make fun of them and mock them by putting it in a movie, but they're not smart enough to see it, and they're just going to believe they're aliens, right? This is how arrogant the devil is. This is how he works. And a lot of people are not aware of it, obviously. You have here Pope Leo announces partnership with Anthropic. We live in a simulation. Of course, the Pope put out a 40-some thousand word writing, I don't know what he calls it, papal bull, whatever they call it. I don't know what they call it. Saying how AI is dangerous. We need to have guardrails. We need to protect ourselves and human dignity, blah, blah, blah. But then he makes a partnership with Anthropic. So check this out.
In a special way, I'd like to thank Mr. Ola for accepting our invitation. In turn, in the name of the church, I accept your invitation to walk together, to listen and to speak, and together to find the way for humanity.
Ooh. So walk together means to be yoked with them, to listen and speak. This is so bizarre. I mean, I can go read this passage from Revelation and it might kind of explain what I'm thinking in my head. What's that, Revelation 13:15? Is that the one? Gives power to the image. I can't even write here. Gives power to the image to both speak. Yeah, it's Revelation 13:15. Actually, let's go pull up a better looking one than that. Here, no. Bible. Let's just go to this one. All right. This isn't really. The second beast was given power to give breath to the image and the first beast. So the image could speak and cause all who refused to worship to be, of course, killed. And we got the false prophet with the beast. Could the beast be an AI beast? I don't know. That speaks, the image that speaks. And the false prophet works with the image that speaks. He literally just said, and again, I don't actually believe, okay, well, I do believe that, how do I say this? Revelation's cut up into many pieces. I think Revelation covers thousands of years. A lot of people just assume Revelation's talking about like one event at the final end or something. I think Revelation's talking about literally the last 2,000 years as well. I think there's a number of things in Revelation that have already happened. But I do believe the devil repeats himself. He does things in patterns. And I don't know if this is relating literally to what's happening now or if it's just how the devil works and he just always does the same thing over and over. Not sure, but it is kind of weird how the prophet works with an image that speaks. Oh, it almost sounds like exactly what's going on here. He says we're going to walk with it and talk with it. Here, what does he say?
Our invitation. In turn, in the name of the church, I accept your invitation to walk together, to listen and to speak, and together to find the way for humanity in this time of...
Bro, the optics are so bad if you actually know the Bible. That's just really bad optics. That sounds pretty bad, actually. Don't know what you guys think about that. Of course, interestingly, with AI, this guy worked at Meta, ex-Meta on 520. I've shown his stuff over on my other channel. He was a software engineer. He said some rather curious things on his posts. At Meta, 95% of my coworkers were Chinese. This is in the United States. He worked in the United States at Meta, and he's a, what would he say he was? He was a software programmer? One sec. What did he say? Software engineer. All right. 90% of my coworkers were Chinese. Non-Chinese were routinely excluded, disadvantaged, targeted for layoffs. 6 out of the 7 layoffs I observed targeted non-Chinese, despite non-Chinese being the vast minority. Certain orgs like ads and MRS are notorious for being Chinese dominated. I think Americans would be outraged if they knew that their own citizens were being marginalized and laid off at their own companies. What I found to be curious about this was Meta owns an AI center, one of these data ones, right? And apparently there's a huge amount of Chinese people working in certain sectors of Meta, as this man is indicating here, assuming he's telling the truth. And what's really weird about it is, for one, this came out, I covered this the other day. We had here David Nino Rodriguez showing how there is no water in the Rio Grande right now. It's completely dry. I don't think I showed it on this channel. I showed it on my other channel. I showed it on my other channel. Check this out.
All right, folks, I'm currently standing in the Rio Grande River right now. This is what it looks like right here, all dirt. All dirt.
And this, of course, Meta uses 75 million gallons of water. Meta's Los Lunas facility alone uses roughly 75 million gallons of water. usage per year connected to the Rio Grande. Of course, that's probably going to be a fraction of that, but there's also a drought going on there. There's some other weird stuff going on there as well. And they're building these data centers out in the middle of nowhere in areas that have very little water as well, which is really bizarre considering how much water they use. You have Meta as well. This guy here says, not going to lie, Meta layoffs are some of the most dystopian I've ever seen. They got told to work from home, sent emails at 4 a.m. in the morning. Those who weren't impacted have software on their computer that tracks their every move, preparing AI to take their job as well. So literally training AI to take their own job. But my whole thing was, so we had this guy who was looking into this stuff in Canada. He was looking into the whole thing with China, because China was apparently doing, remember 2 years ago I covered this, that they were doing exercises right across from Washington State, north of Tacoma, about 2 years ago, and then all these power substations went down here in the United States in that area. And it was from hacking, and I was like, maybe it was them. I don't know. I just thought it was a little weird that they were doing exercises at the exact same time, literally like 50 miles away. Could they have been the ones that did it? Well, we don't know. But we know China loves to buy up our farmland and everything else. They're now taking over our companies. Kind of weird. And it's really weird. They were not assimilating whatsoever in the company Meta there. They were literally controlling it, speaking Mandarin to each other while they had American people who couldn't understand what they were saying. They would promote their own kind, as you would say. So it makes me wonder if there's something there as well. Like, it seems like these two are connected, kind of. The whole alien and AI thing seems to be connected for some, even though it doesn't look connected, it does to me as well. At the same time, it has this weird feeling to it. Because they're both at the same time. You see them both kind of growing out of nowhere, right? So I'm wondering if there's something there with regards to this. We also had, apparently China and America are the only ones with these highly specialized drones, supposedly anti-gravity. It seems really weird, like I think they're one of our main competitors on the world stage. And it just makes me wonder if there's something, I feel like there's something there I'm missing. Also, I wanted to play a clip from Brandon Tatum. Actually, I was the first guy to interview this guy on YouTube. I told him he should make a YouTube account. He's like, I don't know, man. I was like, you got a good voice. I think you'll do well. He's got like 3 million subs now on YouTube. He's doing pretty good. He's interviewing Tim Burchett here about how Trump is facing resistance over the whole UFO files. Very strange. Let's play this clip real quick, see what they have to say.
They say, oh, we're releasing it all. Well, the reality is they're not releasing it all. There's things that I've seen and people that I've talked to that don't have the clearance or the ability to come out and talk. And we've got to break through that. We've got to break through that. And I congratulate the president on his honesty to me, but as some of his top people have told me, that they're getting a lot of resistance. And he said, what do you think it is? I said, Mr. President, I really honestly don't know the answer to that. I said, but I think we need to know. And I think you're the president to do it. And
so it sounds like he's facing a lot of resistance. I was speculating on this over the last month or so, that there's like 2 sectors in the government fighting over this topic. And I think Obama's on the other side because he came out saying that we're not going to release anything. He literally came out almost the same day. Our president came out and said we're going to release stuff, and he came out the same day and said we're not going to release anything. I thought that was the weirdest thing in the world. I'm like, what? Like, you're not president, dude. How are you going to tell people who's going to release what? You were former president, but you're not currently president. You have no say in the matter. What are you talking about? So I felt like he's kind of like sort of representing some big faction that's against this. And so I do think there is some pushback going on there. Some want it released, some don't want it released. And I think there's also a narrative that they want to push maybe on the other side as well. It might have something to do with them wanting to say God isn't the creator and that they're our creator or something like that, which is something I played a clip of from Danny Jones' show talking about that on a previous video. At any rate, so I kind of think that there is some weird, nefarious stuff going on here. I don't think these are just alien beings from another planet that care about us at all. I think that they're not. I think they're interdimensional beings. I think they live here. They may actually live on other planets too. I don't know. It doesn't matter because I think they come from here originally. I think they came from here originally. I think they're part human, part something else. Who knows? I mean, like I've said before, fallen angels or small g gods, because the word in the ancient languages is actually Elohim, referring to the angels. The word angel actually is an occupational word, not an actual word of a being. You got seraphim, cherubim, and other types of beings. And they actually were physical, corporeal bodied beings. They're not just spirits. They're not little cherubs flying around like they show in these paintings or something, all right? At any rate, that's my video. I kind of wonder what some of you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.